everyone, it's Kelly here. Welcome to my channel if this is your first time. Welcome back if you've been before. Lovely to have you either way. On this channel we talk books, and today I am bringing you a book haul. We are coming into our autumn weather here in Australia. I've got my hoodie on, very excited. It started to get a tiny bit chilly. Had to get the slippers out this morning. So yeah, very exciting times for me because autumn is one of my favorite times of the year, where everything starts to get a tiny bit cooler. It's like cozy weather, lots of reading to be done. Very, very exciting. So I have lots of exciting books to show you, and I've sort of broken them into categories. So we're going to just kind of go through each of the categories, and I will show you the books that I have acquired so far. No, not so far. The month is over. Books I acquired in March. So the first set of books is two books that I acquired that are on the Women's Prize Longlist. The first is Trespasses by Louise Kennedy, which is a book set in Ireland, and it is sort of amidst the conflict between Catholic and Protestant people in Ireland, and it's a sort of a romance, not romance really. There is a romance. There's a romantic relationship that goes on between a Catholic and a Protestant, and it's sort of like the ramifications and fallout of that. So I'm looking forward to reading this one at some point. The other Women's Prize book that I picked up was Memphis by Tara M. Stringfellow. This is described by Chloe Benjamin as an American epic. Essentially, I believe this story is a sort of generational story. So it's sort of told from the perspectives of several women, I believe, in in different generations of a family. So that one should be a good one too. So those are my two Women's Prize long list books. Where am I going to put these? Stack on table. Okay. The next prize books that I have acquired are for the Stella Prize long list. The Stella Prize is it's kind of like the Women's Prize, but for Australian books. Only the difference is in the Stella Prize that there are different types of books that are able to be included. So it's not just novels, but also there are some memoirs in the long list. There are also poetry collections. Graphic novels are also eligible, and it's for women and non-binary writers. So that's what the prize is all about. Anyway, the long list was announced. We've now got the short list. I have started reading the books from sort of impulsively, started reading the long list for the Stella Prize. So I got most of the books from the library, but I decided to buy a couple of them. I bought the poetry collections, and I've also picked up one of the novels. So the novel that I picked up is Hydra by Ariane Howell. I don't actually really know what this is about, but it's on the Stella Prize long list, so let's have a quick look. Anya is a young, ambitious antiquarian, passionate for the clean and balanced lines of mid-century furniture. Ooh, I like a mid-century furniture moment. She is intent on classifying objects based on emotional response, and when her career goes awry, Anya finds herself adrift. Like a close friend, she confesses her intimacies and rage to us with candor, tenderness, and humour. Cast out from the world of antiques, she stumbles upon a beachside cottage that the neighbouring naval base is offering for a 100-year lease. The property is derelict, isolated, and surrounded by scrub. Despite of, or because of, its wilderness and solitude, Anya uses the last of the inheritance from her mother to lease the property. Yet a presence, human, ghost, other, seemingly inhabits the grounds. A dinghy from the Second World War propped against the house has a faded logo painted onto its stern, a three-headed water serpent ready to strike. The signs are ominous. Hydra is a novel of dark suspense and mental disquiet struck through with black humour. Ariane Howell beguilingly explores notions of moral culpability, revenge, memory, and narrative, all through the female lens of freedom and constraint. She holds us captive to the last page. That sounds amazing. So I'm going to be very excited to get to this one very soon as I'm reading through the long list. I think this one is on the short list, so yeah, this should be a good one to get to. That sounds really good. One that I have purchased and already read, and I'll be talking more about in my wrap-up for the month of March, is The Jaguar by Sarah Holland-Batt. This is a poetry collection, and it centres around the poet's kind of relationship with her father, who has Alzheimer's, or had Alzheimer's. I believe he has passed now, but so it's kind of like his as his health kind of deteriorates. And then he also, I believe, no, sorry, Alzheimer's not right. He has, what is the name of the thing that he has? Something else, but he ends up, I believe, getting Lewy body Alzheimer's, which is a really horrible sort of situation for anyone to be in, to have a parent or a loved one who is struggling with their health and is in decline over a sort of long period of time. It's really difficult to do that. So this is sort of her reflections on that. I will talk more about this in my wrap-up, so I won't go into it now. But yeah, this is one of the poetry collections that was on the shortlist. Sorry, the long list. And the shortlist, I think. Yes, it is. It's also on the shortlist. The other poetry collection from the long list, which I don't think is on the shortlist, is this one called Decadence by, I don't know how to pronounce the author's first name. Thuy On is the surname. So this is, I don't know what the sort of focus of this poetry collection is, but I do love a good poetry collection, so I am excited to get to this one at some point. It's very thin as well. So yeah, this is from UWA Publishing, which I believe is University of Western Australia Publishing. It's a publishing house that I was not really aware of, but I bought this directly from them, from their web shop. And while I was there, I was like, oh, let me just see what else is here, because I got to pay for the postage. Might as well make it worth my while. And so that's the end of my Stella Prize long list books. But while I was shopping for that one, I picked up some deals, some bargains from UWA Publishing while I was buying Decadence. Moving my post-it notes. So I bought a couple of novels and a couple of poetry collections for really, really cheap. So some of them were like $10 and some of them were $5. So bargains to be had. So this one is Extinctions by Josephine Wilson. I don't know anything really about this other than at the top it says it's the winner of the Miles Franklin Literary Award for 2017. So I don't know, I've not heard of this one before, but I figured, you know, if it's won the Miles Franklin, it's probably pretty good. So I will look forward to getting to this one at some point. It also won several other awards, including ones I've never heard of, but it was the winner of the Colin Roderick Award, the winner of the inaugural Dorothy Hewitt Award for an unpublished manuscript as well, and was shortlisted for the 2017 Prime Minister's Award for Fiction. So it looks as though it's about a retired engineer and him sort of coming to terms with retirement. His wife has passed. He's got 2 adult children who are sort of, it says, lost to him in their own way, so I guess they sort of have an estranged relationship. Yeah, so sounds like, you know, a man coming to terms with his retirement and what that means for him, but also then, you know, rebuilding his life and so on. So that should be good. It says it's got dark humour in it. Dark humour courses through this lovable tale. There's a quote from the Times. So we love a bit of dark humour. Another one that I picked up is this one, and this was a cover buy, 100% a cover buy, but also it was like $5. So it's Isabelle of the Moon and Stars by S.A. Jones. It says, ever since the incident 2 years ago, Isabelle has been stuck in a dead-end job, trying desperately to keep it together and ward off, or capitalised, the black place. Her best friend, Evan, is her safe haven. They laugh at each other's jokes, share the same interests, and take the piss out of each other with the ruthless efficiency of long acquaintances. Sex isn't an issue because Evan has made a bargain with God to keep it in his pants, and Isabelle is still recovering from being deserted by her fiancé, Carl. Then, just as Evan reconsiders his vow, Isabelle contrives a bizarre passion for her boss, Jack. Everything implodes one suffocatingly hot Australia day. Escaping the resulting chaos, Isabel flees to Prague, where she must finally confront her fears. A provocative and funny novel about the dark places, both personal and historical, from one of Australia's brightest new voices. Interesting. I've not heard of this book, but it sounds interesting. And then I've picked up 2 poetry collections. So this one, ooh, it's a bit shiny. It's called Even in the Dark by Rose Lucas. Again, basically a cover by, because it is quite beautiful. So again, I don't know anything about this poetry collection, but it should be a good one to kind of have a flick through. And then the other is Happiness by Martin Harrison. So that's that one. So those are my sort of bargains that I picked up at UWA Press, a press that I hadn't ever sort of come across before, but I'm excited to kind of get to have a look at some of those books and see how they do. All right, then I've got a few others that I've just sort of randomly picked up. We're onto the more randoms here now. These ones I've picked up new, either because mostly because they're a bargain. Some of them were on my wish list, and they were reduced price, so I, just occasionally look through my wish list on Amazon and I'm like, oh, yep, that one, the price is right, let's just get it. So there's a couple of them of those, and then a couple of them I bought directly from Scholastic because I'm a teacher, so when the deals come out on Scholastic, I have a look, and these looked interesting. So we'll start with those. They're interestingly, but they're both from the same press, which is Chicken House. So the first one is Sisters of the Lost Marsh by Lucy Strange. This is about some sisters who have no mother. They work on a farm and they have a cruel father, and he is superstitious. So basically, there is a thing called the Full Moon Fair, and they are going to sort of have a day of fun, but the day of the fair moves on and one of them goes missing or vanishes, and then it's sort of like this mystery of what is going on. So that should be interesting. And look, the gold foil, how can we go wrong? Then we've got this is the other one I got that is also published by Chicken House, Things I'm Seeing Without You by Peter Bognanni. Again, we've got with the beautiful foil, this time it's kind of like a copper coloured. Tess has dropped out of school. She has barely held it together since the death of a boy she messaged countless times a day about anything and everything, who saw the world the same way she did. The boy she loved, who said he loved her, and whose suicide she never saw coming. Jonah, who wasn't who she thought he was. A darkly funny and life-affirming tale of love, loss, and life. So this sounds like it's probably YA. But yeah, should be an interesting one. Then these were the ones that I picked up because they were on my wish list and were a good price. So The Winter of the Witch, which is the third book by Katherine Arden in the Bear and the Nightingale. I forget what this series is called. Winter Night? Something like that? Maybe. Anyway, it's The Bear and the Nightingale was the first one. It doesn't actually say. So yeah, this is the third one. It's the only one I haven't read yet, and I read the others on Kindle, but I decided I would buy a physical copy of this one to read as my final one. It's a great series. I really enjoyed, so I will probably buy the others in physical copy at some point. The other that I picked up is the second in a series. I haven't read the first one, but this one's called Our Lady of Mysterious Ailments. Can Magic Heal Their Maladies by T.L. Huchu. I don't know if I've said that correctly. The first one in this series, let me find it, is called The Library of the Dead. So I will probably read that one first, but this one was on sale, so I picked this one up because I'm interested in reading this series. At this stage, I think it's just a duology, but there may be more coming. I don't know. Right, then, sorry, my pile's gotten a tiny bit precarious there. I have some secondhand bargains that I picked up. I've only done one little secondhand shop this in March, which is unusual for me. I like to sort of every now and again just pop into a secondhand place that I know has good books and pick up a few. But these are the ones I went on that one trip that I did in March. I guess I must have been busy. So we have Late in the Day by Hadley. I picked it up because of the cover. Tessa Hadley, I should say. And this one when I read the blurb, was about a sort of a group of friends. So I think it's 2 couples, Alexander and Christine, and Zachary and Lydia, and then one of them dies, and then it's sort of like what happens to their friendship after one of them passes away. Another one I picked up, sorry, there are 4. Another is A Lonely Girl is a Dangerous Thing by Jessie 2. I have seen this banging around, but I don't know much about what it is about. But it was $3 at Vinnie's, so I was happy to pick it up. So we've got Jenna Lynn plays the violin. She was once a child prodigy and now uses sex to fill the void left by fame. She's struggling a little. Her professional life comprises rehearsals, concerts, auditions, and relentless practice. Her personal life is spent managing the demands of her strict family and creative friends and hooking up. And then she meets Mark, much older and worldly wise, who consumes her, but at what cost to her dreams? Yeah, so should be interesting. Another one that I picked up, which was not on my radar at all, but when I read the blurb for it, it sounded really interesting. So it's called Jesustown by Paul Daley, which is a novel published by Allen and Unwin. And this is about a man who flees London in disgrace after the accidental death of his infant son. With 1 card left to play, he reluctantly takes a commission to write the biography of his legendary pioneering adventurer anthropologist grandfather. So he goes to Jesustown, which is the former mission town in remote Australia, where his grandfather infamously brokered peace between the indigenous custodians of the area and the white constabulary. He hasn't been back there since he was a teenager, when a terrible confrontation with his grandfather made him vow never to return. Of course, nothing is as it seems, or as Patrick wants it to be. Unable to lay his own son to rest, Patrick must re-examine the legacy of his renowned grandfather and face the repercussions of his actions on subsequent generations. So, like, this just sounded so interesting, like it's a white man with a reputation for, bringing peace between the Indigenous people and the white people, but maybe not everything is as it seems, and sort of like this kind of unfolding narrative layered with like the complexities of what's going on with the main character. So it just sounded really good, so I picked that one up. And the last one that I picked up, I need to start reading some Jane Harper books, because this is the 3rd one I've now picked up, and I still haven't read a single one. I really need to get to The Dry, I think, first, because that's the one that's got the most accolades. But this is Force of Nature, which is another of the ones in the series that go with The Dry. So let me just quickly find, where be the list of books? Oh, The Dry. So this is the second one. So The Dry is the first one. This is the second one. I can't remember the name of the other one, but I've got the most recent one. But I think there are 4. So there's another one. I'll potentially find that one as well. But the thing that I've heard about Jane Harper is that, especially with The Dry in particular, is that sort of sense of the landscape sort of almost being a character. That's how well she writes about landscapes, and sort of incorporates them into the story. So I'm really interested to read her books. I just need to get to them. So maybe this year will be my Jane Harper year. We'll see. So that is it. Those are the books that I have acquired in the month of March. I am interested to get to a lot of these. I've only read one of them so far, and it was just okay, I think, but I'll talk more about that in my wrap up. So keep an eye out for that one. But in the meantime, thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you on the next video. Bye.